Hades, one of the best indie games from recent years, and today we're going to be finding out whether we can beat it cast only. And not only that, we're going to have every boss on extreme measures. Rules: no dash boons, no attacks, no special attacks, no calls, no summons, simple. Starting out, chose the sword, specifically the aspect of Poseidon for that boost to cast damage. Chose the Athena keepsake in order to get access to her phalanx shot at the start of the escape. In the beginning, we were sweeping rooms. Our boosted damage made most enemies a 1 or 2 shot, and any palms went straight on leveling the cast, as well as grabbing centaur hearts, boosting our health, which we would definitely need for Hades. The first problem arrived at the Doomstone mini-boss. This guy wasn't going down in a couple of hits, and the big downside to casts: 1, we only get 3 shots, and 2, if it doesn't kill, the bloodstone ammo gets lodged inside the mob 15 seconds before dropping out again. Didn't have much choice in boons, but did still try to grab things we could actually use. Got caught in a survival room, ready for an intense battle, until I realised you could just do laps of the arena until the time ran out. First boss, today being Electo and Tisiphone. At this point we're doing solid damage. Annoyingly, do still have to wait for the bloodstones to drop, but may have a solution to that later. Did get caught a little, but so did Electo from our own spike traps. Asphodel next. Did a little bit of setup, swapping to the Pom Blossom keepsake to level our boons as we progress. After the first room, it was time to see if we could solve our bloodstone problem. No luck at first, but we do have access to the Fated Persuasion ability, so 1 dice roll later and boom. Quick reload, this will speed things up. There is still one more related boon I'm on the hunt for, but we'll get to that. Even with the constant leveling up, a lot of mobs were now taking all 3 shots to kill, making progress a bit slower, but expected. And we were still able to make time for a quick spot fishing.
Good day, Lenny. And now, prepare to die.
Lerny was a proper threat, causing the first death of the run. The main issues being having to focus on several enemies at the same time, and due to extreme measures, having a much smaller arena. Especially how easy it was to strike the wrong Hydra, and then forced to run and wait to retrieve the bloodstone. Thank God for the quick reload from earlier, as this would have been painfully slow without it. So after that death, a couple of casts later, and Asphodel was done. Onto Elysium, and found 2 annoying things about these respawning mobs. The first, when they transform into their floating onion form, they have iframes causing the cast to sail by, which we then have to retrieve, and in some cases are actually unable to get to them. The second thing we'll come across in a moment, but first found another actually useful boon. This will work well with quick reload. Now, butterfly balls are probably my least favourite mini-boss. They're tanky, spawn undeflectable butterflies, and in this arena, the floating onions are back, which we can't get rid of because the boss is hugging the bloodstones. So after the ball, we had to deal with all of them respawning. And if 1 wasn't enough, how about 3? No! I accidentally misclicked and spawned Skelly, which, to keep to my rules and not take advantage, I moved out the way and let him get jumped. Why more of you? Asterius and Greek Rambo were next. These were tricky for different reasons. Minotaur hit like a brick, span like a Beyblade, and with having to both wait for the bloodstones and keep an eye on Theseus, it wasn't long until I got gored. With Theseus, it was more so he just wouldn't stop moving, and we effectively had to move into oncoming traffic in order for the cast to hit. Almost had a second death, but managed to clutch it. One area remained, the Temple of Styx. All we had to do was find Cerberus's food and straight to Hades. But here, I made a huge mistake. I could have chosen the easy path without mini-bosses, signified by the doors without skulls, but wanted that extra bit of help. And well, it caused this panic of a mess, resulting in not just 1, but 2 deaths. The main problem were first the Sayer boss himself, who shoots these very quick poison darts, poison being completely broken, and second he brings along his rat chums, who also attack, but the bigger issue is that they get in the way of the casts, so it was very difficult to focus damage on the boss. So we got the heart, but no resurrections left.
It's one of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody.
First, check one thing at the shop, and here was the other boon I was searching for. Greater Recall. Now both bloodstones would drop quicker, and they would return instantly, but I do feel I need a resurrection in order to beat Extreme Measures Hades. No matter, we'll just have to beat Hades deathless. So after feeding the doggo, it was time to face Pops. And the first thing I noticed was he was definitely taking spinning lessons from the Minotaur. It started off okay, but then he started summoning, leading to our problems from earlier, difficulty aiming, and bloodstone stuck in the wrong mobs. All this ending up within a 1 shot before the end of first phase. Why did I have to go down that path? But wasn't going to let it end here. We dodged, with iframe shockwaves. We focused on Hades with clearing through first phase, getting rid of all the mobs. Now it was just me, him, and 1 strike that could finish it at any time. We hid from his Dragon Ball lasers, avoided the grasping hands, slowly chipped him down to halfway, getting caught on the edge, just managed to dash away in time, and then got a spear to the back. This was gutting, as if I'd changed 1 decision, I think we could have had this. I bought some Tyson Bloods and upgraded our sword to max before going on another run.
Well, time to go get killed again.
which ended up being pretty similar, except didn't get the quick reload boon this time, which, as thought earlier, made the learning and thesis fights much longer and more difficult. Back to the main article. We return to Hades, this time having focused on keeping, buying, and prioritizing our resurrections and health. Of course it's you. Managed to get to our PB spot in second phase with 2 resurrections left, one having been taken by a Cerberus Hades combo. I gave you food earlier. Did play it very safe for the rest of second and third phase, especially as this time we had to wait the full duration for the bloodstones to drop. Still got caught a couple of times, but we had resurrections to spare, even an extra one by changing our keepsake. So can you beat Hades cast only? Yep, just make sure you have the quick reload boon, it makes it much nicer. We do a whole host of different challenges on this channel, so if you're not, be sure to subscribe and have a great day.